What happens if you get stuck in the middle of Mount Everest? The sentence terrifies me. But did you know there is an individual who was stuck on Mount Everest and was later rescued? Welcome back to another episode of Horror Theory. In today's episode, we are going to tell you an incredible story of survival on the highest mountain in the world. Beck Weathers was an experienced climber who had always dreamed of summiting Everest. However, his dream turned into a nightmare when he found himself alone and stranded on the mountain. In this video, we'll take you through the harrowing and emotional story of his survival. Buckle up and let's get it going. Beck Weathers was a Texan pathologist with a passion for mountaineering. In 1996, he joined a group of climbers attempting to summit Mount Everest. Beck was no stranger to climbing, having successfully climbed the tallest peaks in South America and Africa. Beck and his group started the ascent, but they were met with a severe storm on the mountain. The storm caused many climbers to turn back, but Beck and his team pushed forward. As they climbed higher, the weather conditions worsened and the visibility became more non-existent. During the ascent, Beck began to suffer from the effects of high altitude, including blurred vision and memory loss. He was forced to stop and his team left him behind, assuming he was dead. Beck lay there for hours not knowing if he would survive the night. He thought of his wife and children, and the fear of never seeing them again consumed him. The next morning, Beck woke up to find himself still alive. He knew he had to get moving if he wanted to survive. Despite his condition, he managed to make his way to a nearby camp where he was discovered by a group of Sherpas. Beck was relieved to be alive, but he knew that he still had a long way to go before he was safe. The Sherpas attempted to rescue Beck, but the storm was still raging, making it impossible to airlift him off the mountain. Beck was left behind at the camp and he prepared to wait out the storm. The loneliness and isolation of being stranded on the mountain without any way to communicate with the outside world were almost unbearable. Beck spent the night in the open, exposed to the elements. He knew that he had to keep moving to stay alive. So he set out again in the morning, despite his blurred vision and memory loss. As he stumbled along the mountain, he thought of his family back home and he wanted to see them again. He knew that he couldn't give up. Not now, not ever. Miraculously, Beck managed to make his way to another camp where he was discovered by another group of climbers. This time, they were able to get him down the mountain and airlift him to safety. As Beck was flown to safety, he thought of the Sherpas who had helped him and the team who had left him for dead. He was grateful to be alive, but the experience had left him with a newfound appreciation of life. Beck was taken to a hospital in Nepal where he received medical attention for frostbite and other injuries. He eventually returned to Texas where he underwent multiple surgeries to save his hands and nose from frostbite. The experience had left him physically scared and scarred, but it had also left him with a new outlook on life. He realized that he had taken so much for granted before his experience on the mountain and was determined to live his life to the fullest. Beck's life story is an inspiration to all of us who wants to keep going, who wants to reach our destination no matter what the consequences might be. He desperately wanted to see his family, which pushed him beyond his limit and was successful to get out of the misery he was in. I hope his lesson could inspire all of us and motivate us to keep going. Thanks for listening to the story. Hope you have a lovely day and see you in a minute. Subscribe for more.